And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net, should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 3,000 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher level of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically, and in addition, we're running our newer number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. And now the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has mini-nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. Kilowatt. Come back with that call sign one more time, please.
Come back with that call sign. Kilowatt Bravo 8, Victor Oscar Mike.
Victor Oscar Mike. Roger, what's the name there?
Victor Oscar Mike. Roger, what's the name there? Yeah, the name here is Adam Alpha Delta Alpha Mike. And I'm located in southeast Ohio. Back to you.
Yes, sir, Adam. Well, as luck would have it, my pen just ceased to function. So you're in Ohio. Roger, Roger?
Ohio. Roger, Roger. Roger, Roger.
Alrighty. If you would, Adam, why don't you give me about 10 or 15 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger?
See if I can find a better path for us, Roger? Yeah, Roger, Roger. FPDX10 with a little bit of audio adjustments. The antenna is a no ground radial vertical, approximately 20 feet off the ground, and I'm just running the rig barefoot 100 watts over to you and back to you.
Roger, Roger. Sounds pretty good, sir. Just one thing to check on to be sure that you're in that wide transmit bandwidth, 100 to 2900, Roger.
100 to 2900, Roger. Roger, Roger. It's already there.
Excellent, excellent. Well, gosh, I don't. You're at the head of the class. I'm going to have to get the duct tape out, give it to you, and let you apply it generously to your radio, Roger.
Your radio, Roger. Yeah, Roger that. I've been watching your videos past couple of weeks. I work midnight shift and I haven't been able to check into your Friday afternoon net there. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm copying you on the Milford, PA SDR, and it seems like always there's a lightning storm up that way. I don't know exactly what it is, but I am catching quite a bit of lightning, but your audio is cutting through, Roger.
Lightning, but your audio is cutting through, Roger. Yeah, Roger that. I just thought I'd jump in here and be a shout there and make contact with you finally, and just trying to gear everything up for this coming up weekend.
Yes, sir. I went down to Georgia. You're sounding pretty good down there. The only difference is Georgia's not have a lightning storm at the moment, Roger.
Have a lightning storm at the moment, Roger. Very good. We've been getting some severe weather in Ohio. Luckily, nothing the past day or two. But I'm sure with you being in Kentucky, you know how that is.
Yes, sir. And what's your event coming up? Yeah, you got to go again with that one. Yeah, what event do you have coming up that you were tuning up your radio for?
It's going to be field day. Field day is this weekend. I'll be 1 Delta from here in the shack. I'm not going to be able to make it out with my local club there. Over.
Roger. So you'll be riding high shotgun, bringing in the crowd to the guys out in the park, Roger.
The guys out in the park, Roger. Roger. Yeah, I donated all my points to the club last year, and they were definitely very appreciative.
Yes, sir. That's a great thing. And I'm sorry that you can't make it out to the park, Roger.
Yeah, it gets hot, and the wife, she has some anxiety issues when I leave and go out and play with the radio. So I'll stay here where it's nice and cool and the comfort of the home, and keep drinking plenty of liquids and everything else that goes along with field day. And I do plan on operating the full 24 hours, so it'll be a very good event.
Roger. Yeah, I watch all these guys, these YouTube guys out there, kind of having a hard time, boondocking, I guess the word is, and it just seems like it's a nice place, I guess, to visit. But I think I'll just watch it. I think I'll just watch the video, Roger.
Well, Jim, like you, I also have a YouTube channel, and I will be streaming a big part of the weekend. So if you go to YouTube and do a search of my call, and you can catch up with my live streams there. And then, of course, I'll be saving them to my channel for viewing down the road. KC9VKV, KB, DOM, back to you.
Okay, and why don't we be very deliberate about your call sign? Some folks can find you, Roger. Be very deliberate, Roger.
Roger. Hey, Roger, it's Kilowatt Bravo 8, Victor Oscar Mike, or Victor Ocean Mexico, or Very Old Man, or Voltometer, with that FCC-issued call. And over the years, lots of people have liked to give me all kinds of different monikers there. Over.
Roger. Now, how long have you had your location on YouTube?
Started on YouTube, I want to say like 2009, and put some videos on there when I was living in California. What started it all, my family and friends lived here in Ohio, and I was out there making DX contacts, and I just wanted a way to show them what the radio looked like, what the radio setup was, and me making contacts with the DX stations. and it was back when hardly anybody was posting any type of feed like that onto YouTube. And then I went on a hiatus from about 2010 up until 2022, and that's when I got this DX10, and I got settled down here in Ohio and decided to get my HS station back together. And over to you.
Roger, Roger. Well, you got the right radio, bud. I tell you, that DX10's a really, really nice radio. I'd be torn between that and a 7610, Roger.
7610, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. The only thing that I really don't like about this radio, and I mean, it suits me fine, if I was going to be using it a lot in a shack, which I don't use it as much as a lot of other people would in a shack, just that it would be a larger unit. It feels like it would help stay cooler and have a little bit more real estate there on the front panel there. Over.
Roger, Roger. Now, when you go to a big screen from that, do you just plug in an HDMI, or how does that work?
Plug in an HDMI, or how does that work?
No, with Yaesu couldn't put HDMI on there. I guess HDMI is proprietary, and it was going to cost Yaesu quite a bit for the ports. However, they say that's not the issue. What it actually is, it's a DVI port. So if you hook up HDMI to this radio, you can burn out the video panel or the video board for the external video. So you have to use DVI, and then you're really limited on what monitors you can use for your external display. And I got lucky and came across some old computer monitors that still had DVI ports. So Yaesu says DVI is the best way to sort out all the color scheme that they have, and with a high contrast. And that was another reason why they supposedly didn't go to HDMI. Back to you.
Roger, Roger. Well, gosh, you know, sometimes I would, that 7610 just looks so nice. I mean, I guess they footed the bill for the HDMI connection. I'm assuming that's what that is.
I'm assuming that's what that is.
Well, it'd be nice if it was HDMI. You know, it'd be a lot easier as far as hooking up a display to other monitors, going extremely large screens in your shack. Also, if you really wanted to set up a really nice YouTube studio and have it pumped in on your live stream, HDMI definitely would have made that a lot easier than having to deal with DVI. But yeah, you know, you can't win all the way around, I guess. But yeah, so that's the safest way to do it, is just a DVI, no HDMI. You don't have to worry about burning anything out of your radio. And also found out Yaesu finds out you did it. Yaesu will not cover it under warranty, so that repair is all out of pocket.
Oh, I see how that goes. Well, I probably won't be doing that for sure, because that's too good a radio to mess up. Anyway, Adam, let me again get that duct tape out, taper down, and you got a beautiful signal, Roger.
Taper down, and you got a beautiful signal, Roger.
Roger that, Jim. Hey, I really appreciate it, and it was a pleasure meeting you on the air finally. Like I said, I subscribed to you a couple weeks ago. Been watching a lot of your past videos, and of course your current ones. And man, I really do like your setup and your format for your channel. Congratulations, sir. And you have a good weekend, and I will try to catch up with you again soon. KC9VKV, KV8VOM73s, and thank you very much.
Roger, Roger, Adam, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you want to, if you want to hear that audio, go to YouTube and do the search, KC9VKV logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,000, and I will have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73, sir. And this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out, give me a shout. Hotel Echo Foxtrot.
I got Hotel Echo Foxtrot. What's the first part?
I got Hotel Echo Foxtrot. What's the first part?
Kilo Oscar 4, Hotel Echo Foxtrot. We just testing this antenna out, see how it works.
Yes, sir. What's the name there?
Yes, sir. What's the name there?
The name is Mark, here in Maryville, Tennessee.
Roger, Mark, in Tennessee. And Mark, what radio are you running today?
Tennessee, and Mark, what radio are you running today?
It's my field radio, 891, with the MSJ tuner that I'm using to stick on antenna. I think I got it tuned properly now.
Roger, Roger. Well, why don't you give me about 10 or 15 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
And see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Yeah, I like it. I think I like power, but it has a super coil. I finally put a meter on it and got it adjusted. I'll copy.
Roger, Roger. Well, I got you in my Virginia SDR. I don't know why that I wouldn't copy you on my Kentucky SDR. Usually that's the fact, but tell me the best thing you like about your radio. And let me check one more time my Kentucky SDR.
One more time, my Kentucky SDR.
Well, I first years ago, these are always pretty easy to get around in, and I like icons, but I don't think I can afford them. Anyway, Yazzy's in my truck, Yazzy's in my backpack, Yazzy's in my safe here, and my 2 meter.
Roger, Roger. You have all those radios?
Roger, Roger. You have all those radios?
I do. I have a FERGUSSON'S and an 8900. I use Geiger's in my
Roger, Roger. Well, gosh, I wish I had a better copy on you. I've gone around through my 4 internet SDRs, and I haven't gone through my Hocus Pocus, and I do have some Tennessee stuff down in there. So let me just see here. Try Tennessee and see if I can come up with a better copy on you, because I'd like to do that. Let's see. I've got these. I got about 50 SDRs loaded alphabetically. It loads them alphabetically, but they're by state. So I have to remember that it's by state, not by city. There's a place called Tipton, Tennessee. I know that's that one's operative. Let's see if I've got you now there, Mark. Come on back and let me check you on my Tipton SDR.
SDR.
I'm using an MSJ tuner. I think I'll copy.
Well, Mark, unfortunately, that one is just it's very bassy, and I'm sure that that's not what we want to do here. So let me see if I got anything else in Tennessee real quick. I thought I had Nashville and Knoxville at one time. Of course, you know, sometimes these SDRs they come and go. They don't the livelihood or the consistency is not quite as much as what one would want. But no, I've got only I've deleted my Nashville and Knoxville Tennessee SDRs because they had ceased to function. So let me see what else I might have here. I've got something down in Georgia. I'll try Athens, Georgia, and see how that goes. This is KC9VKV, and come on back and let me hear you there, Mark.
This is KO4ACS here in Maryville, Tennessee, QSL.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. I got about 3 dB above my noise level on this one. You know, sometimes antennas make all the difference in the world, and I do usually promote the dipole antenna, particularly the resonant tuned dipole antenna, as being a particularly efficient antenna, and plus the fact that they are directional. You know, the signal moves off of those broadside to the wire. So if you want to cover a specific area, you know, you just, if you can, you string that in such a way as your line is broadside to the target. Roger, roger.
To the target. Roger, roger. Copy that.
But, you know, sometimes folks just can't arbitrarily decide which way they're going to run their antenna because they do not have unlimited options, and I understand that. But if you do have options, you know, sometimes you can run them, you know, and maybe 2 with a AV switch, and then you can get a whole different slice of life when you switch from one antenna to the other, because you know, things do come in at different angles to the dangle. Roger.
Angles to the dangle. Roger. Quite a while, but now I think I finally got it. I appreciate it, sir.
Roger, Mark, like I said, I only now have about 2 dB above the noise level down there in to Georgia. I think I went to Athens, Georgia. But I wish I had a better copy on you. Maybe next weekend, you know, Mother Nature will cooperate, and I'll have a 20 over, and we can have a nice little discussion, Roger.
Have a nice little discussion, Roger. That's QSL. I appreciate you once again. It's been a great year. Thanks for what you do.
Roger, roger, Mark. And if you have a copy there, you know, if you want to hear your audio as much as, you know, it is that we can record, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo, Victor, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search. And that'll bring you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3100, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So 73, Mark, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out? Give me a shout. Give me a shout.
Whiskey Romeo 4 Tango, is that a Roger?
Whiskey Romeo 4 Tango, is that a Roger?
Yeah, QSL. That is correct. Call WR4T.
Roger, roger, and what's the name there?
Roger, roger, and what's the name there?
Yeah, name is Ted. Tango Echo Delta, Ted's the name. Just been setting up for field day and trying to get a little, get a couple of reports, see how the antennas are working.
Roger, a copy of the name is Ted, is that a Roger?
A copy of the name is Ted, is that a Roger?
Yeah, QSL, name is Ted, Tango Echo Delta, Tango Echo Delta, Ted's the name.
Roger, Ted. Well, why don't you give me about 10 or 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system. Let me see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Let me see
if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
No problem. I can switch antennas too.
It's actually a 20-meter lazy H. So it's, it's a pair of stacked center-fed elements, and they're spaced 43 feet apart, which is way too close for 40 meters, but fine on 20. And they're 86 feet long, but fine on 20. And they're 86 feet long. Center-fed. The antenna's been working great. Anyway, I thought I'd try it on 40. The other antenna here, I've got an end-fed half-wave I can switch over to as well. This is WRC, currently on the lazy H.
Roger, Ted. Well, let me give you some audio here, and once you go back and forth, if you've got like an easy A-B switch, and see which one's the hottest. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, and we'll be recording from now until 5 with any luck, and Ted is shifting antennas, and we're just curious as to which one might be the best. Back to you, Ted.
Sure, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm still on antenna number 1, 54321, 12345, test, on antenna number 1. And now we're on antenna number 2, 12345, 54321. We're running a 10-tech Scout here at the field day site, just 50 watts, and I'm still on antenna 2. So, anyway, thank you very much. This is WR46.
Roger, Ted. Now, I was copying the mail on my local antenna, and I couldn't hear a difference. When you switched from the one antenna to the other antenna, it did not, drop a beat. I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter, and I saw no difference in the audio. It was both antennas were giving me the same reading for the moment. Where are you located there?
Okay, well, I'm back on antenna 1, which is the lazy H. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're very close, and I think this, the way this lazy H is set up is probably a nice cloud warmer on 40. I'm just trying to see if it compares, roughly equivalent to a dipole. Maybe it'll do a little better, but I would expect it to be perform like a dipole. And it just will save, if I can use this antenna on 40, it'll just save me having to put up another dedicated 40-meter antenna.
Roger. Now, are you out in the hinterlands, or are you at your base station? Yeah, are you at your base station now, or are you out in a park somewhere, or what's your location specifically, kind of?
I am out at our farm, which is about 10 minutes from the home QTH, Claremont County. I'm right next to West Claremont High School, right across the street from me.
Yeah.
R42.
Roger. And what radio are you running there?
The 10-Tech Scout. It's a 10-Tech Scout, 50 watts.
Oh, Roger. Is it designed 50 watts, or did you just decide to run it at 50 watts?
Oh, it's designed. It's kind of like a field radio. It came out in the 90s, and it uses plug-in modules for each band. So if you change bands, you plug in a different module. But it was designed for a 50-watt operation. They had a 5-watt version of it for the QRP guys.
Oh, Roger that. Well, it sounds really good. My signal is kind of in and out. You're kind of in and out as far as the signal strength is concerned. But when you're in, boy, it's a really, really nice signal. And I don't mean you fade all the way out. You just fade down, and you have your high points and your a little bit lower points. But when you're on that high point, boy, it really sounds good, Roger.
Okay, very good. Yeah, maybe if I switched to the other antenna, one would be in a peak while the other's fading. But, I certainly appreciate your time and the signal reports. I'll probably just listen and copy the mail. I'm going to start packing up and heading out of here. Everything's ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll bring out the tent and sleeping bags and all the fun stuff. Sleeping bags and all the fun stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the the name on that end. So, and this is Ted, WR14, just east of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Roger, Ted. Name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike. This is KC9VKV. We're located down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, and this is the Qso-Vlog net. We usually assist folks in setting up their radios. So far this afternoon, everybody's been doing a good job, and I suppose the radio that you're using right at the moment has a fixed transmit bandwidth, probably, about 27? Would you say 27?
What, about 27? Would you say 27?
Well, yeah, it's definitely fixed. And actually, because of the way the filtering works on this radio, you have to be very careful of how you adjust it for when you're aligning it, because I've done an alignment on it for CW operation versus sideband operation. Because when you're running CW, it's the filter is a little asymmetric. It's not really centered, and it has a variable bandwidth filter that Tentec came up with. They called it a Jones filter, and patented it back at the time. So anyway, it was a very simple circuit, low cost, but it's fairly effective, and it does a pretty decent job as a CW rig.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, thing is, I do prescribe as if a person has the possibility of achieving that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, I do suggest that run that way, and that gives you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. However, on lesser widths, you can do an EQ job and make that radio sound like it's running 2900 when it's running far less than that. It's just a matter of EQ, and I think you've achieved that pretty good, because your audio does have a lot of articulation in it, Roger.
A lot of articulation in it, Roger.
Oh, very good. Well, I think some of that's the microphone too. I've mated it with a Shure 444, and that is a very crisp, kind of punchy microphone. But if you're not careful and overdo it, the audio can kind of start to sound very tinny and pitched. So I hope I haven't completely eliminated the low end. Anyway, back to you, WR14.
Roger. Well, Ted, this is just an excellent example of what an articulated radio can do, because I'm copying the mail on you many times when your audio is the same level as the noise. So you're actually making it through right at the same noise level, but your audio is articulated, so it's understandable even under high QRM, Roger.
It's understandable even under high QRM, Roger.
Oh, very good. One more time, I'm going to switch antennas. Now I'm back on antenna number 2 now. This is the NSET halfway. I just thought I'd give it another try before I sign out of here. But as I said, we're ready for tomorrow. I think the only thing I have to do is I'm still charging a battery on solar cells, because you get a little bonus point. You make 5 Qsos. And that's the other thing about the Tentec Scout, is it will run very, very well on a little scooter battery, a $50 scooter battery. It'll run, a couple of days without any trouble at all. If you're working a contest, it won't make it a couple of days, but for normal casual operating, it'll be fine on one of those little scooter batteries.
Roger. Well, I went to my Virginia. I was copying you up in Virginia, and then I went to my. You kind of faded out there, and I went to my Kentucky SDR and finished that last part on my Kentucky. So that radio's getting out for sure. Well, listen, Ted, let me say 73 to you, sir. I wish you all kinds of luck in your endeavors there in the field, and I hope you make a lot of contacts, Roger.
You make a lot of contacts, Roger.
Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll be running all CW over the weekend. We normally do field day just CW, and that's usually sideband though is an excellent way to kind of check out how the antennas are performing. So thank you again, WR14, Cincinnati, Ohio. I'll be going on standby. Bye-bye.
Roger, 73 up that way. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you want to hear your audio, go to YouTube, do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. I'll take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3100, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So 73 there, and we'll catch you later. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey America 7 Kilo Yankee.
Station calling you. I was on my Milford, PA SDR. They're having a lightning storm up there. But if you would, why don't you come back with your call sign one more time, and I'll see if I can find a better path for us.
Back with your call sign one more time, and I'll see if I can find a better path for us.
This is Whiskey America 7. Whiskey Kilo Yankee WA7 WKY.
Whiskey American 7 WKY, is that a Roger?
Whiskey American 7 WKY, is that a Roger?
USL, yes sir. I just heard you on and I thought I'd give a call.
Roger. What's the name there?
Roger. What's the name there?
My name is Barry, Bravo Alpha Radio Yankee. I'm also in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Is that Barry?
Is that Barry?
USL, yes sir.
Roger, Barry, and you say you're up in Cincinnati, is that a Roger?
Roger, Barry, and you say you're up in Cincinnati, is that a Roger?
USL, yes sir.
Roger, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, and what radio are you running today, sir?
EQ Churmaker 401. Small Henry amp, about 700 watts DC.
All right, Barry, why don't you give me about 10 seconds or so, tell me about your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
And I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Okay, I'll be fine. I'm using a fan dipole, and it's a 80 through 10 meter fan dipole. It's up about 30 feet on one end and about 20 on the other. So that's the story there. This is an old transmitter, built in 75, so I still keep it perking. Hopefully it sounds okay. Maybe not the best in the world because it's an older vintage transmitter. I think your call was KC9 Victor Kilo Victor. I'm not positive. This is WA7 WKY.
Roger. Well, you might be just slightly, one way or the other, frequency-wise, a little discrepancy, but it's very, very close. I wouldn't even consider changing it. I wouldn't tell you, could tell you which way to go. But, on your audio, does that radio that you built, does it have a compressor on it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's very old school.
Okay. Does it have a ALC meter on it?
Yeah, I'm peaking ALC right at the top of the ALC range right now.
Okay, because you're running about 4 dB dynamic range, and you could close that up to about a 3 dB, and be just a tad louder than what you are right now. I'm looking at your audio signal on a VU meter, and it's fluctuating quite wildly. And usually, when you hit that 3 dB mark, it kind of just hangs there a little bit. Roger.
Okay, I jacked it up just a little bit. turned it up just a little bit. Does it sound any better now?
Oh, yes, it does, and it sounds beautiful, so I would run it more like that, and I think your EQ curve sounds pretty good, Roger.
Okay, well, I appreciate that very much. And can you confirm your call sign for me?
Roger, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, KC9VKV, and we're down around Louisville on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger.
Okay, and your name?
The name is Jim, Juliet India Mike.
Jim, I'll put you in the log. I appreciate your nice comments today, and I'm glad to see that we're getting out okay. I'll remember that position I have the mic level at, and we'll keep it there from now on if it sounds better. All the best to you, my friend, and have a great day. And if you're going to work, the contest tomorrow, good luck with that. I'm not into that QRM so much, but anyway, have a good day, Jim. Thank you. KC9 Victor Kilo Victor, Louisville, WA7WKY. Good afternoon, Jim. Thank you very much.
Roger, Barry, if you wanted to just take a minute to tune your radio there, if you would, we're on 7188, and this is a 7300, so it's a slab on the money there. So if you wanted to shift up or down, I can tell you when I think you're there.
Okay, I moved it just to touch that time, and hopefully it should sound better now for you.
I think that's got it. Is your do you have a freak meter on that?
No, I'm using an analog readout receiver, Sugarbaker 303, no digital readout, so I just do it by ear.
Roger, well, I think you've nailed it. I think you got it going there. Get the duct tape out. I'm sorry. Get the Gorilla Tape out and tape her down.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, Jim, thanks very much. You've been very, very kind to me today, and I appreciate that. I hope you have a good evening down there. If you run the field day contest, good luck with that tomorrow, Jim.
No, I'll be resting. I will not be on the air during contest. Oh, Lord, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. The last time I decided I was going to do some contest stuff, I got my book and I got my pencil, and I was ready to go, and I come in the next day right when the contest was supposed to start or thereabouts, and I swear there were 3 people on every frequency, and some people were running 3 channels by themselves, Roger.
Yeah, I'm not into contesting either. I won't be doing any of that at all. We'll be most likely reading something else more productive in the sense that I don't need all that chaos or what I believe is mass QRM. That's all I see it as. So anyway, Jim, I don't want to be negative about it, but I know that a lot of people do that contesting. When I was young and a teenager in high school, I was into that very, very much. My friends and I would stay up all night long and do that. But now at 80 years old, I don't think I'm prone to do that much more. But I do respect the guys who do it, who want to enjoy it and have fun, and more power to them, Jim. KC9VKV, WA7WKY.
Roger, Barry. Well, you and I are about the same there. I just wish, if I were perchance interested in doing some QSO stuff, I wish there were, say, a certain frequency or frequencies that were set aside for folks that wanted to conduct QSOs during contests. But alas, I guess that's not going to happen. So anyway, so if you want to hear your audio there, Barry, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It's be cut number 1 in a series of 3100, and I'll have it I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger.
Jim, thank you very much for that. I'll consider listening to that, and I do appreciate your kindness. You've been very kind today and very, very generous with your time. I do appreciate the comments on the audio from here, and anytime this old gear is still perking for me, I'm grateful for it. So you take care, my friend, and have a good evening and a good weekend, Jim, and thanks again very much. I appreciate it.
KC9VKV, WA7WKY. 73, Jim, thanks.
Roger, sir. And the first of our conversation, I think I was on my Georgia SDR or something, which has, most SDRs have kind of limited bottom ends. They kind of roll out there at about 200 to 250. But the last part of our conversation, I was on the 7300, and it's down to 100 cycles. And I have a chevron on the right bottom side of the screen that shows one where we might be monitoring from. So if you want to check your audio out and you consult that chevron, you'll see when I was in other places and then when I was on the 7300. So we'll say 73 up that way. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and if you can, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Charlie 4 ZZ Echo.
All right, ZZ Echo, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Charlie 4 Zanzibar Echo. Kilo Charlie 4 Zanzibar Echo. Name is Tommy. Jim, over.
Zanzibar Echo. Roger, name is Tommy. And Tommy, where are you located?
I'm in Jamestown, North Carolina. QSL.
Roger that. Tell me in what radio you're running, sir.
I'm running a Flex 400 with LFF amplifier, running about 300 watts, over.
Okay, I got the flex part. What are the numbers?
6400 M, the Flex 6400 M with a LFF KAP 500 amplifier, running 300 watts, over.
Roger, Tommy. So why don't you give me about 10 seconds to tell me about your antenna system, and I'll see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Roger. Well, the antenna is a ZS6BKW, I believe. I remember the nomenclature on it correctly. And it's a wire antenna. It's up about, 45 feet maybe, and it's what they call a modified G5RV. It's taken off the G5RV design and modified to the ZS specifications, I suppose. I bought it and put it up. It works well on 40 meters, but the SWR high is a little high on the other bands that it's supposed to work on. So I just use it for 40, and for the other bands, I like getting on a polar dipole I have and a hex beam. KC4ZZ back to Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor.
Roger. Tell me, well, I've been listening to your audio. I'm on my Virginia SDR. You're about 15 over there. Pretty nice signal. And I think you do need a little more on the treble side, maybe about 3 clicks treble boost from where you are would give you a nice articulation to your audio, a nice curve on that audio top end. Right now it's just kind of rolling off there, but if you were to do like a plus 3 clicks additional treble boost from where you are, I think you would be a little more articulated, Roger.
From where you are, I think you would be a little more articulated, Roger.
Roger. I got to find where I got a treble boost on this radio at. I'm not sure I got a treble boost, Jim. I've got a equalizer on it, though. Over.
Yes, sir. That's it. And that's it, is that a 3-band equalizer?
Is that a 3-band equalizer?
It runs from 63 hertz up to 8 kilohertz.
Okay, is it adjustable? I mean, as far as the frequency, can you shift the frequency? If I were to say 2.7 kilohertz, would you have something that you could shift to that, or do you have that?
Something that you could shift to that, or Do you have that?
Oh, my bandwidth is 2 kilohertz. Would you like to be for maybe 2.9 over?
No, that would be too high. See, that would be out of your range. And you're running a 2.7 transmit bandwidth. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, 2.7 transmit bandwidth. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, over.
Okay. Could you run to 29, 100 to 29? Could you run that?
29, 100 to 29. Could you run that?
This is Kilo Charlie 4 ZZ Echo. Do you see a difference, over?
Yes, sir. That 2900 is a lot better. Gives you the transmitter a lot more top end. Well, not a lot top end, but more top end than 27, Roger. And then gives you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. So that's why we recommend 100 to 2900, Roger.
So that's why we recommend 100 to 2900, Roger.
Roger. Glad to hear that. And the microphone I'm using here is a $11 microphone I bought from China, over.
Yes, sir. Well, the main thing is that mid-frequency in your equalizer be flat. Because even a bad microphone, if you start with a 1 kc signal or mid-range, it will do that fairly well. So usually we recommend that center equalizer be off or plus or minus 0. Off or 0. Roger.
Minus 0. Off or 0. Roger.
Roger. So, are you saying at about 500 hertz I should be 0, over?
Well, actually, from all of those controls, I would say from 150, from 400 to 1.4, that should be flat. From 400 to 1.4 or 5, that should be flat. And then because an equalizer is designed for the to strike a balance between the top to the mid-range and the bottom to the mid-range. And if you push the mid-range, it's so much harder for the top and bottom to catch up. So we do say, hopefully that you can keep that mid-range flat, and then it's easier for the top and bottom to catch up for balance.
It's easier for the top and bottom to catch up for balance.
Okay, the mid-range is 0 from 250 up to 250, from 500 to 1K. Both sliders are sitting on 0 dB.
Roger. So then the next slider up from 1 is 2 kc. Is that a Roger?
The next slider up from 1 is 2 kc. Is that a Roger?
That's a Roger. Then it's 4 kc, then it's 8 kc, and that's all.
Yes, Roger. So sometimes we just have to play a game between 4 kc and 2 kc. I would say full boost on 4 kc and plus 2 on 2 kc and see what that sounds like.
Plus 2 on 2 kc and see what that sounds like.
Okay, this is Kilo Charlie 4 ZZ Echo for ID with KC9VKV testing, over.
Okay, so you got full up on 4 kc and you're about plus 2 on 2K?
You got full up on 4 kc and you're about plus 2 on 2K?
That's correct.
Annie, why don't you tell me the best thing you like about your radio and let me listen to your audio?
Annie, why don't you tell me the best thing you like about your radio and let me listen to your audio?
I think the best thing I like about this radio is that on the receive side, it's very quiet. It's not a radio that's hard to listen to for a long period of time, especially on 40 meters. Actually on all the bands, actually, if you set it, the AGCT correctly, you can make the noise disappear, which is nice. And you don't get the lightning and static crashes like you would with a different type of radio than this Flex 6400 when it's not an SDR. I've got a Yaesu FT991A and I don't like listening to it for long periods of time. But Flex, I can turn on and listen to it all day long. So I'm going to replace this Flex 6400M, Jim, I believe, with a Flex 8400M that's coming out. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you know, the latest and greatest is always usually better than that which came before, so I wish you luck on that. You might want to go back to your ALC and double check your level. What we say is, you know, go to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, elongate the A part of audio. You become a human test generator, and then just plus or minus your mic level until you're running a 2/3 on your ALC meter. I know you don't have exactly an ALC meter, but you do have a reference, Roger.
Don't have exactly an ALC meter, but you do have a reference, Roger.
Well, I have an ALC meter, so hold on, I turned the wrong button. You got to start over. Right there is about, well, it's a little high. Let me turn it down a little bit more. Turn it down just a hair. Okay, that's about 2/3, Jim. Over.
Yes, so the trick of using that word is it's multifaceted. If you look at it on a spectrum analyzer, you know, it's a multi-tonality, and it's a good word to set up on. But you should say that the first part, the part, just speak it as you would speak any other word in a QSO. Don't stress it, just say it, Roger.
In a QSO, don't stress it, just say it, Roger.
How about this?
Kind of cut off there. You're all right on that?
Kind of cut off there. You're all right on that?
Yeah, I think it's right at 2/3 now. Over.
Yes, sir. Sounds really good. I think you'll like your recording. If you go to YouTube and do that, call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, we'll take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Yep, thank you, Jim, and you did it for me also on that FE991A a few years back, and I greatly appreciate that. Thank you for doing this service. My service you give us. Thanks very much. KC4, you have a good weekend. I'll say 73 to you there, Jim. K9VKV, God bless.
Roger, Tommy. Well, this afternoon I'm running the 7300. I've been running the 990 for about 3 weeks in a row, just to blow the cobwebs out, and then switched over to the 7300 here recently. So, and that's why I say the frequency response, although the 990 has been modified pretty heavily to achieve great frequency response in the low end and the top end beyond what it was originally designed for, the 7300 is just such a nice radio. It's just out of the box. So there you go. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
I had a Whiskey 8 station back in there. It's kind of a lower level, but we'll try it. Come back one more time with that call sign, Roger.
We'll try it. Come back one more time with that call sign, Roger.
Let's see. I got Whiskey 8 Bravo Sierra, I believe. If you want to try it one more time.
Sierra, I Try one more time.
Roger. 8. Sierra.
Bravo Sierra Kilo, is that Roger?
Bravo Sierra Kilo, is that Roger?
India?
Roger that. 58 Bravo.
India?
India.
All right, I got that. And what's the name there?
All right, I got that. And what's the name there?
I think he needs a loop antenna.
Bravo Sierra India, PASDR is getting a lot of static up that way, so I've moved over to my local antenna. What is the name there, one more time?
The name here is Mike, Mary, Isaac, Kilo, Edward. Mary, Isaac, Kilo, Edward, Mike.
I got you good there, Mike, and what's your location, sir?
Dayton, Ohio.
Roger, Mike, and what radio are you running, sir?
Well, sir, you are my first sideband contact on my Zigu, however they pronounce it, G90.
Yes, sir. I'm always suspicious of a name that starts with X, Roger.
Roger that. I can't argue with that, but I certainly hear well on it.
Yes, sir. And you're making a pretty good trip on my local antenna, and the audio sounds like you've got it under control. Roger, Roger.
Roger, sir. I appreciate the comeback. I really do appreciate it. What's your location, sir?
We're down around Louisville. We're on the Ohio, we're on the Indiana side of the Ohio, right at Louisville. Roger?
Roger that. I'm very, very pleased about this. I've done some digital work with this radio, but you are my first sideband contact, so I'm very pleased about that.
Okay, Mike, I would suggest if you have any more audio gain, I would suggest cranking it on up, and let's see what that does. I would turn that mic on up a little bit. I think you've got room to do that, because it looks like you're right now running about a 6 dB dynamic range, and we want to pull that down to a 3 dB dynamic range. Roger?
Roger that. Roger that. I do appreciate it. As soon as I learn how to do that, I'll make sure that happens. I really appreciate the input, partner. I really, really do. This is my first contact with this radio. I only got it a few days ago, and it seems to be an okay radio, but obviously all of the very fine details I've not yet worked out.
Roger, Roger. So it doesn't have a control sticking out there that says mic?
Heavens no. Heavens no. It's down in the 23rd level menu like it is with all radios these days.
Ah, well, let's outfake them. Can you work closer, Mike?
I've just about swallowed the mic as it is. Let me back out of here, let some other folks jump in. I'm awfully glad to make a contact with you. I appreciate your time, and everybody else on the net. It's Whiskey 8 Bravo, Sierra, India. Y'all have a good day out there.
Roger, Roger, Mike. You sounded really good when you were up close to that microphone, but I would get a windscreen, a foam windscreen that fits over that mic, and you would really sound gangbusters right into that mic, just like you were, but with that foam windscreen filter in front of that. You can work that mic just as tight as you want, and you'll never hear any mouth noises. And your audio level, just the way it's set, would work out just perfect for you working that mic really tight. And if you wanted to hear all that, we are recording, and if you were to go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that's KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3100, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger that. Poppy, we'll give her a go, and I really do appreciate you guys being here today. It's just been swell. Thanks a ton in a bunch. You all have a good day. Whiskey 8 Bravo Sierra, Dayton, Ohio. Cheers.
Roger there, Mike. 73, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo 8 Echo Papa Sierra.
Kilo 8 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo 8 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Roger, Jim. Kilo 8 Echo Papa Sierra. The name is Eric Echo Romeo India Charlie, located near Columbus, Ohio. You're getting bombarded by Ohio today.
Yes, sir, but boy, I tell you what, your signal is just beautiful. Your audio curve is very, very nice. And what radio is that?
I'm running a Kenwood TS890, running about 500 watts into a quarter wave vertical. You helped me set this radio up when I first got it, and I haven't had to do much to it. It's just been wonderful. It gets great reports. I had a technical question for you that I've been wanting to ask for the last 6 weeks that's different from my setup on the audio. I was wondering, your VU meter, do you take that signal off of the accessory jack with the audio line out for that?
No, I'm coming a speaker out. I'm coming speaker out at 8 ohms, and then it comes into a what I call a trim mixer, and I have a selector switch that it goes to first, along with and it comes up on a selector switch with my my other SDRs, and then I can switch, back across 5 SDRs plus my 7300 audio out, and my audio out goes into that selector at 8 ohms, and so I just adjust the volume to match the SDRs, and then from that it comes to what I call a trim switch, a trim pot that I can ride level, and that's goes into the audio system for the video recorder. And Roger?
For the video recorder and
Roger, Jim. Yeah, I was just wondering. I'm an electrical engineer, and I like to fiddle around with these things, but I just was wondering if that was coming off the accessory jack line out. What do you use as a reference voltage to be at 0 on that VU meter?
It's actually the VU meter is tied to the mixer, the house mixer, and it's sampling. You can't really push these mixers these days, so normally I would be on a professional mixer, I would be +4, but the output of this mixer I'm at 0. And that's what that calibration is. If I were to be at 4, I would have +4. I would have no headroom for mistakes, errors, and overshoots and stuff. Roger.
Overshoots and stuff. Roger. I understand. Yes, absolutely. The headroom is critical.
Then for your spectrum analyzer, where do you tap in for your spectrum analyzer?
Spectrum analyzer, Spectrum analyzer is tied to the output of the mixer, as is a external house VU meter. They're tied to the output of the mixer also. So there you go. That's essentially the way it is. It's, of course, that's on the on a good day. on a bad day, sometimes I can't remember how I got from there to there.
On a bad day, sometimes I can't remember how I got from there to there.
Being a design engineer, I absolutely understand. A month later, I think, who came up with this scheme? But anyhow, I won't tie you up, Jim. I've been trying to get in without interrupting the productivity for the audio for about 6 weeks, and I just thought I'm going to jump in and find out because the curiosity was killing me. And it sounds like you've got a heck of a mixer set up there, which I would expect a broadcast engineer to have. So I'm going to get off of here. That you've got time for one or two more people. You've helped me out. You got me a good signal, and I'll always be thankful for that. And I will wish you a good weekend coming up. I'm an old Indiana boy from south of Richmond, Indiana, so I kind of know your area too. So I will get off and let you get back to business, and thank you very profoundly. Kilo Charlie 9, EJV. This is Kilo 8, Echo Papa Sierra, saying 73.
Roger, Eric. Well, gosh, don't run off, bud. It's a really good signal. I didn't even have a chance to see if I can find a better path for you. I was just on my PASDR. You were sounding so good there. Why don't you tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Roger, Jim. Yeah, I'm running a DX antenna, quarter wave vertical.
SWRs are really, really low with it. It does a great job for a vertical.
For a vertical. It's not as quiet as if I had a dipole, which I will have here before long. But for now, that's what I've got, and it's what we run, and it seems to do well on DX to Europe and even into the South Pacific. So love that quarter wave vertical.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I am running a resonant-tuned dipole antenna here. I do all my transmitting on that resonant-tuned dipole antenna, and we have been doing that for the last 6 years. We go around the country as far as receive locations, but we're always transmitting from our antenna here around Louisville, Kentucky. Roger?
Transmitting from our antenna here around Louisville, Kentucky. Roger?
Roger. I used to run a dipole at my previous QTH, but just have to kind of engineer a way to put one up here at the new house. But I do want to have the ability to run a dipole and a vertical. And it sounds like you've got quite an antenna farm there in your backyard. That with all the magnetic loops and dipoles, etc. It sounds like you've pretty much got the East Coast covered.
Yes, sir. We've got 3 10-foot vertical magnetic loops, one at 0 degrees, one at 90 degrees, and then one at 134 degrees. And I've been playing with that one at 134 degrees and using it as a noise dull loop. And it's really effective. I can get almost 8 dB of noise cancellation by rotating that magnetic loop in a certain direction. And I can, sit there and look on my view meter, like 2 o'clock in the morning where there's nobody on the channel, and I'm just looking for what happens to be noise around around the area, and I just rotate that antenna, and I can just see that VU meter fall down and then swing out the other side, and then I just bring it back to that null point. So the null ability of a loop antenna is so much more precise than its directionality from the front or back of the loop. It's much tighter nulling than it is forward or backwards, Roger.
Much tighter nulling than it is forward or backwards, Roger.
Roger, I can see that. That makes sense. I don't have enough experience on loops, but the people who run them seem to love them because of the adjustability. So I may have to consider something like that in the future. I've only got so much space in the backyard, but I just don't want to get too much back there. The neighbors will think I'm setting up Voice of America.
That's right. Well, I had this guy drop in he was from the AT&T, and he dropped in a fiber optic cable, and I guess he didn't come from the same pole as my other hardline copper telephone line. He came in from another telephone pole, and it cut across close to the dipole. And I said, well, this is not going to be too good because there's some RF floating around there that would probably maybe get into that. And he says, no, well, not really, because there's no. I was concerned more in detuning than anything, and he said no, because there's no copper in this drop. So those fiber optic cables have no copper shield or nothing, Roger.
Cables have no copper shield or nothing, Roger.
Yep, it's a whole different world, Jim. You go back into the 70s like I did when I started. I actually started in the 60s, but let's just say legitimately I started in the 70s, and all of the engineering and all of the learning about wires and coaxial transmission and closed circuit television, and now all of a sudden everything seems to be fiber, and it's better. Even cars are running fiber, so it just seems like there was a quantum leap, and one that we really needed. And as far as I'm concerned, it's really revolutionized the way these cable companies can send their signals.
Yeah, that's a Roger. But the thing is, on telephone lines, I thought that being fiber optic, I would get a whole lot less latency than hardware copper, as far as the conversation. But boy, I tell you, even fiber optic, there is a certain delay between one party and the other, and sometimes it's hard to maintain a conversation because they're not hearing you or you're not hearing them because of the latency problem, Roger.
Or you're not hearing them because of the latency problem, Roger.
Yeah, you're right. There's enough other electronics in between your fiber cable and wherever the source is that you are going to get some of that latency. I don't know how it would measure out against a true copper wire, but it seems like you've got to have other in there, and there is going to be some built-in latency there.
Yes, sir. So you just have to kind of take your time between. You can't be too tight in response back and forth. You have to just kind of take pauses so the other person can speak, because it's, it's what is that? Simplex, double something, double simplex, I think it is.
Double something. Simplex, I think it is.
Yeah, I have to fight that problem on a cell phone. There's about a half-second delay for the person on the other end to hear what you said, and on occasion you can get a little bit of a feedback echo that tells you that there's a half-second delay, and that's really surprising considering the microwave towers, etc. But it's there, and whether it's simplex or duplex, it's still there for whatever reason, and it's really irritating to say something, stop talking, and wait for the party on the other end of the cell phone to respond. Kilo 8, Echo Papa Sierra for ID.
Roger, Roger. It would just kill you if you were trying to do a telephone interview, you know, because you just could not. It'd be very difficult to get to, you know, the relaxed point, because there's always this thing that you have to watch out for in the back of your mind, you know, and you don't want to be upcutting somebody. But anyway, I guess, you know, your audio frequency response, sir, is much better than cell phones. You have a beautiful top end where those cell phones are rolling off on the top. Your audio just is cutting through. Roger.
Rolling off on the top. Your audio just is cutting through. Roger.
You know, I sometimes tell people on the radio, you sound more like a cell phone than you do a single side band with good equalization. And some people get it and some people don't. But yeah, cell phones are trying to work under adverse conditions at sometimes. But I just find it interesting that that digital mode of communications really does have a major limit, more so than the old landline type phones used to have.
Oh, yes, a lot more, because, you know, we used to get, at the radio station, we'd do beeper stuff, and off the, you know, incoming, and it was all copper, and the quality was just amazing, you know, well, within EQ range, anyway, but this fiber optic stuff, and particularly cell phones, you know, starts off with not much top end and gets worse from there, and not even to the point that you could actually hardly EQ it to sound good. So, and that's progress, though. Roger, Roger.
Sound good. So, and that's progress, though. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, that's what they call it. It really has changed over the years, over the decades, Jim, and you've seen massive changes, and so have I. I was doing medical electronics for imaging, like MRs, CTs, cath labs, ultrasounds, all of that, and they started changing the way they would transmit the images, and that brought up a whole new set of problems and issues that we had to deal with. But the more pure the signal, the better off you are, and what you've done with your Vlog is you've helped thousands of people go from whatever came out of the box sounding like mud to having good articulation. You can be very proud of that. I really do appreciate the service that you provide.
Well, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. I guess it's you know, from the background there, and just expecting more, and that's you know, one of those things. Hopefully, I knew that the radios were capable of it as far as their onboard EQ. You know, you can hype the front to top end, and if you can't make it there, then you can start rolling off the bottom end, but you can find a nice balance to the mid-range. It's just that mid-range has to be flat, so you can have an equal board to be able to bring the top end of the bottom end, but and that's why that mid-range has to be flat. And I think that's what Bob Heil was working on and did do with the 7300 and the 7610. That's a two-band EQ. There's no mid-range. It's a fixed mid-range, and I think that's one of the greatest things that there is, because it just is so simple then to EQ that radio. Roger.
It's so simple then to EQ that radio. Roger.
Well, absolutely. It was a brilliant approach. Engineers really like to keep things simple and effective, and what he did was kind of start out with the premise, hey, if I don't have to do anything with the middle, that saves me an awful lot of circuitry and adjustments, and we'll just play with both ends. And it was a brilliant approach. I started reading up on him, probably 10 or 12 years ago, and now I've got this Kenwood TS890, and it's got an 18-band EQ. But at the heart of it all, when you're running flat in the mid-range, you're using up an awful lot of that EQ just to be at zero, but you do have all that flexibility to kind of slice the carrot very thinly on the top and the bottom end. So, yeah, Bob Heil really did pull off a good engineering coup there, because it's almost so simple that that's why nobody ever thought of it before.
Yeah, Roger. And then the part about the electret microphone, Bob has, for years, had always used dynamic microphones, and just towards the end, he started using electret microphones. And, you know, electret microphones, in my opinion, are so much more articulated than dynamic microphones. So, and I think he found that out right at the end when he did the mic for the ICOM. Gosh, that hand mic is so nice that it would cost you $300 to duplicate that audio response from another mic if you did not use his hand mic for that ICOM, the 7300 and the 7610.
The ICOM, the 7300 and the 7610.
You know, I almost went with a 7610. I've been a Kenwood guy forever, and I looked at the 7610 and I looked at the 890 and I thought, well, what the heck. I respected both radios, but being a Kenwood guy, lots of Kenwood gear in the shop here, I'll just go with the Kenwood. But I know I could have been very happy with a 7610, and whenever I hear them, as well as a 7300, you kind of pick them out because there is such a clean audio. And I know that Bob was moving into the electret range, but I have not yet. I may experiment with that someday, but as of right now, I'm just using a dynamic into the Kenwood.
Yeah, Roger. Well, when you do go into that electret, give me a shot, and we'll have to do some EQing on that. Pulling back that top end, because you won't need that much when you run an electret mic. You'll already be 3/4 there, and you'll just have to touch it up just a slight amount, because that's the story of the electret mic. It's just got so much better top end, starting off from scratch over a dynamic. Well, anyway, Eric, gosh, that wraps it up for us. I want to say 73 to you. I hope you have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. If you want to hear our audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will be bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3100, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger.
3100, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger.
Roger, Jim. Again, I really appreciate it, and I will visit your site tomorrow because I always look forward to hearing my audio to see the fruits of your labor. And I will get in touch with you when I want to experiment with an electret. You're the first guy I'm coming to. So, once again, thanks so much, Jim. Good weekend for you. I heard you say you're not going to be participating in Field Day Madness, and I probably just listen a little until I get disgusted, and then I'll bail. So, we'll try to get through the weekend the best we can. So, KC9VKV, this is Kilo 8 Echo Papa Sierra 73. Have a good weekend, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Roger, Roger, Eric, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And with that all being said, we got to get out of here and make room for return the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, the Qso-Vlog network, and we'll be clear.